most, yesterday Captain Maxwell was promoted to captain. I think that is overall beneficial to the county of San Andreas, as she has been the most active leader in both shift 1 and arguably into shift 2. What does that mean directly for our cabinet and our ability to manage the county? It means as problems arise, as information is needed for public safety and otherwise, we have someone that is not only available, but that can help us make decisions, once again, in the best interest of others. That is also going to provide us a pretty, let's call it a higher, pulse on things that are actively taking place, right? Instead of possibly relying on having to wait X period of time later in the evening when things are arising. There was mention of Tryg at Senior Buns. The only reason I'm bringing this up is so that in the event it does, become a problem for our office. While it's good that it wasn't shared within that meeting, I'll share it here. There's general unhappiness with Maxwell's promotion by him. And if that was not the intent, I will still, that is at least optically what it looked like, and that is arguably just as bad. He did walk out when the promotion for Maxwell came up. I'm not very happy about that. This is not about him. It's about the department. And he has wanted to step down for some time. So if he wants to be a pussy boy, that is well within his, prerogative, right? Next, and this is something that actually, Turner, the next topic, I'm going to speak strictly to you since it's sort of like ongoing development. So I'm going to pause on that. Next, I think Doc is starting to write legislation for the LSPD, which is a good effort to finally see happening. Right now, it's about window tint. Any window tint, regardless of who you are, cannot be fully blacked out, and that includes the police department. The PD themselves have been ignoring that. Why? I don't know. But the PD cannot hold itself above the law, even when it comes to smaller shit like that. We cannot hold ourselves above the law, even when it comes to minor things. Because when you allow minor things to slip, it becomes a slippery slope, right? It becomes then what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the line? Well, the line should always be the law, right? Those things are already defined. Illegal window tint is already a small thing. That's why it's got a small fine. Everything's adjusted for that. So Doc is going ahead and writing legislation allowing for the Los Santos Police Department to operate with higher black tint. I politically am not actually in favor of that, because I think fully blacked out windows are bad for everybody. You don't know when you're getting pulled over if it's a stolen cop car or not, right? However, the reason why I'm letting it slide is on this thing and is because it's starting the momentum, It's starting the momentum of officers hopefully being like, oh shit, we can actually have a voice in legislative change. So
there definitely is some safety concerns that come with it. Well, for the officers, benefits, I should say, not concerns for the officers. So I'd be in support of having tints. I don't know about blacked out though. I think they do tints on all windows when you do that, right? You can't choose back windows a bit darker than the front ones.
No, that is correct. Yes, they're allowed tints, but there are currently a particular tint that is so black it looks like paint, so you can't even see in and out of it.
I just see that being used for maybe unmarked vehicles or undercover vehicles in some way, shape, or form. That should be worked into it, in my opinion. For marked vehicles though, just a light tint is probably fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll see what he works up. I've also been working on some legislation for the VAF I told you about, as well as the hot gun. I slapped it together. Got a little bit of help, but
Ooh.
I can send it your way and see what you
Yes,
think about it, or anyone else
absolutely. I
here.
would love to. Today, my goal is to... Peters, let me call you back right after my meeting.
You better call me back, otherwise.
I'm gonna be doing another assessment of the legislation that DOJ was setting forth. I want to make sure I wrap up on that, and then I'm gonna get the PD, like the document V1 of that document written, the one that is like expectations of the Los Santos Police Department. That's going to be my primary goal today. And I'll try to include that in there as well. I'm finally almost caught up with everything. Yesterday, I resolved the budget issue. I learned that I hate Microsoft Excel, and that despite it being 25 years old, apparently they haven't used any semblance of like common sense to allow it to be able to, run well with 1 million, entries like I got. It blows my fucking mind because my phone is pretty fucking powerful. And nonetheless,
not like any large companies, use Microsoft, right?
Yeah, apparently, it just, I don't know.
It's just a little lemonade stand on the corner, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's insane. But here's the thing. It turns out that when I transferred money to one of the court's accounts, I sent 10 million instead of 1 million. So everything, we're now back in the green. So,
okay.
Yeah. So what happened was we've got 5 court center accounts in the hands of 5 different people, including myself. Because you can't share account numbers, it allows all our managers. Hey, Maxwell.
You busy?
Come to the monument.
I don't even know. I got interviews, okay?
Okay, do your thing then.
No, I'm doing my thing.
You said, are you busy? And then you said, I got interviews.
I do, right. So I don't got time to like drive to you, Nino. I'm just on the phone.
In front of the Mission PD.
Who, you? I'm outside of Senior Buns, Nino.
Okay, are you looking at kidnapped and shot up?
No, I'm looking at my entire command running a Senior Bun shop that's been fucking full of dust bunnies for months.
I don't know where you're going with this.
What? Where am I? And their special is not the captain's meatballs on the menu.
You're telling me that LSPD is currently clocked in working a secondary and double dipping state funds
they're not,
right
they're
now
not
at
on,
Senior
no,
Buns?
they're off duty. They are off duty, but working at Senior Buns.
Okay, that's good.
No, it's not good. The day after I was promoted, and Tryg, and you're gonna tell me you didn't see Tryg run out of the fucking meeting after I was promoted?
I think he's a baby
and
back
then
bitch.
Stevie and fucking Viv follow. Like, what?
Okay.
What am I like? I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't. However,
do,
I have to. But I have to give a fuck.
Yeah.
But right, because like I'm, and I gotta play it this way, and I gotta be nice, and
You should go in there and be like, oh my God. Listen, they're going to get bored in an hour, and then you guys can go hunting, Yeah. Those warrants that I got to get cleared up. It's actually pretty sad.
I know. I know that. And and it's like, the point is somebody needs to replace me, and I am at a loss because I don't feel like anybody supports me any fucking way.
I think they do. I think the thing that you need to learn is look at how I built my cabinet, right? And I look around the circle that's in front of me, listening in on this phone call, and none of them are shedding a tear. Probably deep down, they're like, Nino, you know, I got shit to do too right now. Why the fuck are you on the phone with the captain of the shift, you piece of shit? But they're not doing that right now. They're probably thinking it internally, but they're not saying it
No,
out loud.
I just want to know, what.
Sorry, where I was going with this. What I'm saying here is the key to leadership is to build leadership around you. And you are now in a position where you are enabled not only to hire people into your shift, but to build them up and build up responsibility, build up respect with them and build them up so that they can take on those roles. Your department, both departments, do not need to rely on the old guard to hold everyone's hand. You, Maxwell, are empowered to find people that appear to be leaders. Look at Frost, for example. That guy up on the podium earlier today seemed like he got his head on straight. You got to look for people like that look like...
Wait,
I don't know. I don't know well enough, right? But look at Frost as an example. Part of your job isn't just like... You shouldn't expect Peach to be the next command. You can't expect Carmine to be the next command.
No,
but you got to look in the right qualities and then enable those people.
Yeah,
and
I just want to see
things.
like you're like...
Look, can I shoot
wild.
straight? Let me shoot straight.
The
two people that you named are obviously playing politics, all right?
Right.
And one of them was playing, was not a sergeant, was playing antics alongside Tryg the entire time. I saw it. It's a loss of responsibility. If people want to come on duty and play fuck games, right, and hold the title hostage, you tell them to suck a fucking dick, get on duty, or get the fuck off. It's that simple, right? So
you care that I call you, Nino, to ask you things? Because I literally have nobody else to call.
Yeah,
I can even discuss this with. At Peter's, but he's not around till 2, and that's like
he's around right now, actually. But I recognize it. Yes, you can absolutely call me, and there's nothing wrong with conferring.
And trust me, this is not me crashing out, because honestly, it's funny as fuck to me. That's why I told everybody, let's go to Senior Buns. Like,
listen,
if you want to spend your day flipping burgers, baby, I'm gonna come buy some burgers for you to flip.
Maxwell, my gloves are off with you now. You're a captain. You're being a bit of a pussy right now, and you are crashing out. And what you need to do
I kept my calm. I'm not crashing out.
What you should do is call your PD down right now and make a fun operation for going in and trying to get these warrants set up. And let the people that want to do senior bun shit do senior bun shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I just
and on the second side, right?
I feel like
also,
people take me as a dumbass. I don't know why.
You need to equally respect the fact that they might be also just looking after their friend that probably is getting demoted, right? So so don't just look at it like they're telling you to fuck off, right? You got Doc, you got Frost, you got these other people.
You
also got Vivian, and you probably will get Tryg when he stops with his brain damage. All right, and maybe you got there. You just give them a little bit of time, let them do their thing. You know what I mean? If Carmine's,
I think that's why I'm not saying anything to them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you might be reading a little too deep into it, but at the same fucking time, you also need to recognize that leaders need to build new leaders that respect them and their leadership.
No, I agree.
Right? You cannot rely on people to just do it for you.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, all right.
All right. Well, I got some interviews, so I'm gonna go do that.
All right.
You
should start considering.
Okay.
That's exactly. You should be targeting leaders, not the hee-hees. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, you like that guy today that I had in there. He looks
the guy on that podium sounds
Yeah.
like someone that you probably want to lean on. Him and Frost.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm gonna be honest. Right.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Easy.
I am.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
and
Nino.
hey,
Have a good one.
Hey, do not complain the way that you did to me, even if
I don't.
I don't know if you do. I'm just saying.
No, to nobody. That's why I literally
I'm
don't.
good.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
to nobody.
I don't know that. That's why I'm as a friend.
No,
right?
I don't.
And as your boss, all right. I'm telling you, Just make sure that you don't let that out because that can.
I don't even like do it
metastasize.
around people. I know that. You can't fucking trust anybody like ever. Like people just, trust me. I know people
All right.
stab and they don't. They may not even mean to, but they throw you under the bus.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I need some warrants fixed. All right. Chop chop.
All right, we're getting on it. Bye.
Right. Bye. Jesus fuck. You know, I think I'm just gonna become the chief. Fuck it. No, but I needed to take that call. There's just some internal stuff. I want to give us some. There's some so Tryg is working at Senior Buns, and I guess Stevie, who's a sergeant, and Vivian, who's likely maybe the next LT is down there with her and with them, and so Maxwell kind of feels a certain way. And I'm like, listen. On one hand, you can't just expect. You need to build your own team around you, right? But equally, you need to give them space because they're backing their friend, right? So it's not that deep, and you need to cook, and you need to be looking for new leadership that's interested in, that has the traits and qualities and can take on the work. So,
yeah, she's 24 hours into it. It takes some time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, the budget is now good. We're plus 5 million as of this morning. It's probably going to continue trending in that direction. So that is all sorted. Also, I have brought Jason onto our team, and I forgot to invite her today. Whoops. But I want to let you guys know. I found out yesterday Jason is she works at Humane Labs part-time. Not the one in San Andreas, but I guess one of the sister companies or whatever. And she's quite the analyst. She's already been a very big part of keeping Court Center operating. I know sometimes individually everyone's merits here aren't always fully seen, right? But I've seen it. She's a big part of why we have so many car parts right now. She's also a big part of getting the word out there. So I did invite her, and she accepted. So I'm going to be pulling her. Tony, if you could help pull her into our email chains and maybe give a congratulatory note to her, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. I just need her email, that's all.
Yep. You should be able to find it from the Court Center website or Court Center Discordia.
Oh. That's a good point.
Yep. But with every gain, there is always also a loss. Corolla is on leave. The way that she explained it to me is that she wants to be on leave, get her, her mind right. She hasn't been feeling right for the past month or so. I can recognize it burnout, right? I said, I understood, take your time, have a find herself. I think that's a good thing. It's a healthy thing. So, with that, she is going to be on leave for some time. I am going to have a chat with Mr. Frankie Rizzo, whom I was already sort of planning on needing one other head over at the Court Center, and Rizzo's been back for the past week. If you don't know this, he ran VDM for 6 months. And he is arguably one of the most beloved mechanics at the LSPD, and is one of the most beloved mechanics in the city. He is unaffiliated, which is huge and rare. And him tapped into the Court Center would be a huge benefit to all of us. Because I do think we need I wouldn't a general manager, right? Somebody that can help turn the Court Center's gears while we're not able to look at it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be speaking to him after this meeting and seeing how he, feels about it all. Does everyone here know Court? Any questions so far? Concerns? Don't feel like you can't be what the fuck? By this person, or if you have any grievances, feel free to. I'll give you guys a second.
Sorry, what was the name again?
Frank Rizzo.
No, I barely know anything about the guy. I just heard the name.
No.
He ran VDM across from Strawberry gas station. Yeah, mechanic shop.
Oh,
Remember
I
our
do
best
vaguely
people with
remember.
the early material stuff.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
He would
they're-
literally service like 50 PD cars a week, right? Actively fixing cars over there. So like that's a huge, because he's already knows Mopec. He already knows cars. He already knows how to run a successful business. Like boom, you know what I mean? So
I don't know any of these names you're bringing up, but I assume it's out of my expertise anyway. So
yeah, it was he I think it was he was a face that came after he's I think he arrived in San Andreas like after you know we're on vacation.
I see. All right.
And then yeah, so I don't think you've likely have not crossed paths with him.
I see. Okay.
But
All right.
let me see. What do we got next? Junior showed me, you know, some plans he's got for, you know, his new developmental program, which is good. We have the MOPEC meeting tonight, right?
Yep, at 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And this is only with the existing MOPEC, right?
Yeah, pretty much everybody at the material hub.
Okay. I think we need to move that to tomorrow. Can we do that? The reason I say tomorrow, if it's possible, is Michael is back tomorrow, and I think we need to talk to Michael in advance of that.
I could set up I can ask him to set up a separate meeting. It's more of like an all-staff meeting for their internal stuff.
I'm just going to say it. There's a possibility that Michael has some issues with some of the existing MOPEC people, and we need to check up on him before we talk to the rest of the MOPEC guys. I don't think it's actually new information. If I'm going to be straight with you, I think there might be some stirring happening outside of our cabinet. That's what I, you know, that's what it sounds like to me, because as I thought about it last night, Junior, this is after we spoke, I kind of cooked on it a bit, and I'm like, I think that those that want to be involved in the decision making of the cabinet are involving themselves in affairs that have nothing to do with them, and are getting like, I think shit's being stirred that doesn't exist, and I want to make sure Michael's good before we speak with them, so that there's no decision made beforehand, because the way that it's been conveyed to me is like Michael is very unhappy with the MOPEC folks, but I don't actually think he is. In fact, I remembered that the guy's been on vacation the last couple days, and the inference was that he was gone because of the MOPEC guys, but he's not, because he's on a fucking trip. So there's some like rumory bullshit going around, so I'd rather get that checked, sorted before
Yeah.
It's just some like fucking school drama.
Yeah,
That,
that
is
sounds like
Yeah.
people making assumptions without actually getting the information.
yeah, because the way
that's one of.
sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna say that's what the feedback I got from one of the MOPEC people I was talking to was Andra, was that she was one of the people that says we should probably just talk to him instead of just spinning on this for too long, because they had a discussion with one of the management at Court Center, and that kind of, I think that was a game
Corolla.
of telephone. Yeah, they recognized, at least she recognized it was a game of telephone, and I think that's why she said we should just set up a meeting, just talk directly.
Yeah,
whether
and-
it be with Cloak and Seven with you, or
Yeah.
just small
Agreed.
meeting with management.
Yeah, I mean, I already talked to Seven and Cleo, and she's been down. Wyatt, I think he's done. He's cooked. I think Wyatt's one of the stirs, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm done and through with him. He can suck my dick. Okay. The guy's been crying to me for the past 6 months about all his woes and shit. He was a supporter at one point, but he's just a baby back bitch at this point. And my problem is that, you know, when you hear a child cry enough times and give you the woes and say you're going to quit and this and that, but then like he's like freaking out about like a couple $10,000 here and there that Cleo may have embezzled when she didn't. It's just like, I can sense childish behavior and petty shit like a mile away, and it's time to, you know, take the shovel and chop the fucking garden snake. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
They're gonna go ahead with their all staff meeting, but I can go ahead and set up a separate meeting with their management, with you and Michael tomorrow. And if you want, I could be there as well.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. But like I said, yeah, tomorrow's good because I want to talk to Michael because I think that Michael has grievances with the material hub. I believe him in that he lost money to them, but like I know that, like I equally know that you know, fucking that he was been over it. Like I don't know. But anyways, I want to talk to him first to make sure before I make any decisions. Do not speak with Wyatt yet, but like I said, it's too much drama, to be honest. So any questions about that? Any concerns?
Should I let them know that you'll be you just have a schedule conflict or a meeting's running over for today then?
Yeah.
We'll set up a possible one for tomorrow.
Can they meet earlier?
It depends on their availability. I think
Can you
7 might be able to.
Can you ask
Let
them
me-
like, is there any way that we can
What's your preferred time?
like around now? So the problem I have with 7 is like not 7 the person, but 7 p.m. is that I'm mentally exhausted by then and they may not get my full attention. That's my concern. I might go in there completely cooked and not even like process or engage at the level that they need me to.
So what about a window from now until at the latest maybe 6 Eastern? Would that be better? Or
We should do it
something
by
along
5.
By 5 Eastern? Okay.
Yeah, even if we have to delay the meeting out, it's perfectly fine. I mean, Cleo and 7 already been tapped in. Just let them know that like I want to be like not cooked when we have the meeting. You know, that's
Okay, sounds
yeah.
good.
Because otherwise they're gonna get a empty shell of Nino.
Sounds good.
Okay. I think anything else we got to talk about? I think that covers everything.
Just an update regarding the mechanics and material contacts. I've been working on that. I got most of the contacts for the mechanics. I just
Love
need to
it.
follow with them to give me their email addresses so I can start the group or the email chats. to
Beautiful.
get the
I love
notifications
that.
out.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Okay.
That's on my end. That's it on my end.
All right.
Nothing
Anything
further
with,
from me?
nothing for you? Archibald, how you feeling? Feeling better?
I'm getting better. I'm on the mend at this point. Voice is still a little croaky, but you know. But yeah, I don't have anything immediately on my plate. I plan on starting to pick stuff back up tomorrow. I have been keeping an eye on the docket. I saw the DOJ put up a revised version of the.
Oh my God, it sounds
I
like
wanna say
he's
the Judicial
dying.
Powers Act. Make sure this happened back on Saturday, so you may have already seen it.
Yep. I had to explain to the justices that case law, they were trying to push case law based on, like, they thought they wanted it so that if a case happens, they can write quote unquote case law however they want. Right? Like if, and I had to explain to them, and it was shocking to me because it was Faulkner and Arcadia. I had to explain to them that by definition, case law is based on the conclusion of a deliberation of a case and has to be based on the verdict. So you can't just say a case happened, we didn't like it, we're going to change it. That's not case law, that's legislation.
Yeah, there's a process for that already.
Exactly. So that was, they said that people that are going to get mad at them and like, I didn't really know what they were trying to tell me. Or if, I don't know what the fuck is going on. In fact, one of my latest comments is I realized that, because I'm now reviewing some shit. okay, look, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think the justices have anybody in there that actually understands the fundamentals of law. As if I'm gonna be honest, like even Faulkner, I was a little surprised about, and it might be that they either don't know it or they actually want to do things that don't make any sense for them to do. Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
they're not a legislative branch. They can't be like, yo, let me help out the PD or let me help out citizens. That's not their job, right? That's the job of legislators. If they don't like something, their job is to interpret the law and bring clarity to it through case law and through court cases. And they're trying to bite off more than is in their purview. And the most latest thing I realized while rereading this Marshall and DOC Act as I'm wrapping up on it is that they wrote in there that the director requires a unanimous vote by the justices. There's 6 of them. How the fuck are they going to do that unless they're one voice? How do you have 6 I want you to think about this. In what country in the world do you have 6 justices make a unanimous decision? So to me, I don't know if it was like a Freudian legislative slip into the writing. But there's also baked in there as a deadlock is that a majority is needed to get rid of them, but a unanimous decision is needed for them. So,
Which could soft lock them.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then who assumes the power afterwards? So there's a lot. The other line that I realized in there is that they're prioritizing deputization within the DOJ. Now that infers that judges and justices would be deputized. How do you know they have training, right? It opens up a lot of these like very
It also
strange
conflicts
doors.
them out of any cases involving what they're witnessing.
Exactly that. So I'm going to kind of cook on it a little bit. I don't really know what the point is. I don't know what they're trying to solve. I don't know if they're trying to solve this on behalf of like powers that be, which I don't think they are because I feel like I would have not heard about that. But I am going to make sure that they remain in their lane for the betterment of everybody. So, you know, they are free to run for the next mayor's election. You know what I mean? If they so wish. But they're limited voices that they self-determine their own existence by voting in by bringing in their peers at their own discretion. They will not take power over the people under my watch, whether or not that's their intent. But I want to be sure that when I get out of office that not an ounce of democracy is lost and only gained. So that's my overall position on that. So, all right. Any questions? All right. I know this is a bit long-winded. I got to get the cooking. And I do need to talk to Turner. So, gentlemen, if you need anything from me, please let me know. I'm going to be sitting on a bench just going through all this legislation and kind of finalizing on it.
That's good. Princess Elena called me at the beginning of the meeting, so I'm going to talk to her for a bit. She said she had some questions. I'll let you know if there's anything pertaining to our office for that.
Beautiful. Love it.
Sweet.
All right.
Appreciate you, Nino.
Yep. Anytime.
All right, then.
All right.
Take care, y'all.
Need help with that?
So yesterday evening I spoke to Peters and Moss. I wanted to make sure that you're tapped in, but it'd be good for you to, you know, I think they could use another check-in, you know, to keep them aligned with, but they want to bring in Redditch in as a captain for shift 2.
I'm not familiar with Redditch. That's the current sheriff, is that right?
I liked him. I suggested him to Pred. He put him as a sheriff. He put Aspen as his under sheriff that ignored everything he wanted to do, and then Redditch gave up and dipped.
Yeah, I heard that.
And now they want to bring him in as a captain, and I'm like, and I was like, while he may have not been supported, where is his evidence that he even knows what the fuck he's doing? Right? You can't just feel bad for someone and say, you're now going to be the captain of a shift that doesn't even know you. And while it may sound good to him on paper, the problem is that he's getting set up for failure. Even if he's brilliant, right? He's coming in without any merit, so you're already gonna it's already gonna piss off people in that shift, and then it's gonna make it look like a Make-A-Wish transfer, as opposed to bringing him in at a lower command level and letting him build the respect and then earning it up, right? So that's my position. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna press them very heavily, but that's kind of what's going on right now. And in lieu of Maxwell on merit getting that position, bringing him in just kind of, in my opinion, kind of reduces the impact. And
There's
especially with what's going on with Tryg right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. A couple ways I look at it. Bringing him in as, say, a sergeant, building up his, people around him who he knows isn't terrible, when you just throw someone in as captain. They might respect the rank, but respecting the person is pretty important as well. And that's something he could build up from sergeant and get to know his shift. Now, if they want to put him in as captain though, and they're all on board for it, then so be it. As long as they're willing to have that uncomfortable. Somebody said, I don't remember who said it, but I liked it. You got to get more comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. And it wasn't specifically said about anything, but in general, you got to be more comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. And if he is not fulfilling the role as a captain, then they need to be willing to knock him down a rank or two. Maybe preface that. When he comes, hey, if you don't mesh well here and this isn't working out, and you're not meeting the expectations that we have set forth, then you're not staying. Look at it as a trial period. A trial captain, however you want to put it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. I think it's just it's a very weak decision, I think, personally, overall. And but while that stipulation can be made, right now the LSPD's got to migrate forward. I just think, why set yourself up for failure as opposed to set yourself up for success, right? But you know what? I'm not dead set on this.
Changes, which is important, right?
I agree.
They're not standing idle.
I agree. I just think strategically, you're pulling the guy that's already going to get bumped down to a deputy and bring him in as a captain without talking to your shift two.
Yeah, I can't really. It definitely needs to be a conversation. I can't really speak for him though. I don't know the guy. I don't know the department. I've gone down to the BCSO 12 times. I've driven around the county. I haven't found a single county deputy at all hours of the day and night. I can't even have a conversation with anyone. I don't know what their department works like to say, whether he was in the right or the wrong as to what took place. I don't know the politics behind it all. So it's hard for me to make a good assessment here.
Absolutely.
Based on what you're saying is
I wanted to give you my perspective of things, but I also will say that I'm not going to very much press heavily, because at the end of the day, those are their decisions. And I cannot break their back making a decision that I may think is the right decision. At the end of the day, it's theirs. And, their decisions do, it ultimately is theirs, right? But, no. Anyways.
Yeah, I think we don't necessarily try to sway them too much, but at the same time, we just provide them with maybe some different point of views. But like I said, I think them trying to make change is a good step in the right direction. Setting yourself up for success is good, but who do you foresee going into a captain position for shift 2?
Nobody. Captain should a high command position should be earned by merit in that department.
I'm saying who stands to take that position right now, though?
Oh, nobody.
There's
Shift
nobody
2
that
is
meets the
literally a
criteria?
ghost town. There's 6 of them.
Shift 2 is in 3 hours?
Yeah. So shift 1 carries the first half of shift 2. And then it slows down. Now, I will say that I think Ruby has not been getting the support she deserves. And like in the same level that Maxwell didn't, except Maxwell is a self-starter, whereas I think Ruby was dealing with a more difficult problem. And even where they were like telling me that they wanted to just demote Ruby because like she hasn't been like doing what they needed, I was like, y'all need to be a lot more fucking politicals, because on one hand you're getting a make a shift fucking captain, and then like you're demoting somebody that you literally did not help in any fucking way, and that's just gonna look bad. Instead, I question why they would not just like leave her where she is, bring in Redditch as like a sergeant, right, or like as a peer, and give them clear directive to help bring them up, and then from that give them the leeway to then rise up, right?
Have you spoke to Moss since she had the meeting with Ruby? That was, I think it was supposed to happen yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think I spoke to them after that.
To Moss.
I don't know. I know that I spoke to Moss before she went off duty, so I don't know about any meeting or whatever.
Anything about Ruby though, in specific?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, she did meet with her. I didn't ask for details. I don't think I got any details about what that meeting was about.
Okay, I think we should inquire about that next time we meet and see how that went. They haven't linked up for quite some time, so I'd be curious to see how the conversation went with them.
Yeah, my impression was that when I hate doing this. I feel like it's so outside my role, but I can't, help myself because things look so bad. 2 days ago, I got Maxwell. I was with Maxwell, and I told her to pick up Ruby. They don't mind each other, but they don't want to talk type shit. And a lot of that, I think, is also on Maxwell, right? So I made them sit in the vehicle together, and I started asking them questions about how things are, like so that they would both engage with me.
You said who?
Maxwell and Ruby.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sat in the vehicle with them?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I was with Maxwell, and I brought Ruby because I wanted to spark the thing that I think, look, just straight up, I think Moss and Peters just don't know how to do. Connect people. So we sat in there. I was like, hey, these things are happening. And like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? If, do you want me to, you know what I mean? Like getting them to both contribute. You know what I mean? And
how'd that go?
Brother, I walked out of there feeling so fucking bad for Ruby because I believe that one of my key skill sets is that I can read people, their intentions, and what they're actually saying, right? It's why I'm a sociopath, you know what I mean? Like I can really fuck with somebody, but I can also be very empathetic. The way she was talking, I could tell that she is Ruby. Yep. Okay. She has been literally left on an island to rot. She didn't know that she's been paying for PD upgrades out of pocket, which is inconceivable. That means nobody cared to even know that it was happening. Nobody cared to bring up upgrades with her once, because had they would know she's paying out of pocket, which is something that PD pays for directly, right? And while it can be like, oh yeah, Moss did bring that up, she was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay her back. That doesn't matter. Why the fuck wasn't that like that? That's like such a hot topic, right? How does an LT? Yeah, exactly. I mentioned the court center. She didn't know much about it, and I walked out of there being like, holy fuck, she's disconnected. And I did bring this up with Moss and Peters, but like I don't know. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, when it comes to like that kind of shit, they're like bozos. Like, it's like they couldn't read between the lines. Like, listen, bro. Like, they're like, well, she doesn't. Ruby. When I asked Ruby how she's doing, she says everything's fine. I'm like, no shit, motherfuckers. Like, people are always gonna tell you it's fine. Your job is to recognize where they aren't doing fine, right? Like, you have to engage to get an answer, not,
Yeah, I agree. You have to engage. It is a two-way street, though. I think it's a two-way street. They need to speak up too if they got problems.
The difference is that it's a 2-week streak, but the buck stops on high command, not the other way around.
Fair,
Right?
yeah.
So, like,
I mean, we've already established we got communication issues for sure in the department, and
yes.
it seems they're working on it. Again, I'd be very curious to see what the Moss's perspective of their conversation was. I think that was supposed to be yesterday, right? Yesterday or the day before.
They did, yeah. Now that you're saying that, there was the mention of like she spoke to Ruby and they're gonna get money back. Now I will say, like, you know, this isn't like fuck Moss or Peters or whatever, but I recognize where their flaw is, and they both got hella ACDC, and they're still learning that they need to engage and be around their direct reports to get a real sense of what's going on instead of relying on just a singular answer providing all context.
Yeah, I think part of that is also in fault of not having captains they can rely on either. You know, having some sort of
Agreed.
chain of command that's also going to be communicating. Right?
Agreed.
Because, you know, like I said, the chief should be checking with the lieutenant on a daily basis. That should be the captains.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Captain should be checking in. Then if they have a problem that they can't fix, that's when it goes up the chain.
All said, these aren't unresolvable things, but it's the reason why I'm engaging more with some of this, and that includes like when Maxwell calls me, trying to provide some insight of like how leadership can look. Because it doesn't matter if it's a PD, the court center, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, you know, leadership is leadership, right? Delegation is delegation. These aren't like, you know, faction specific. You know.
Right. Do we have a time scheduled for the chief at all
No,
the next days, or not
I'm
yet?
thinking we should re-engage like tomorrow. Might be good.
I'm available tomorrow.
Let's see if we can get. Let's do it. I think. Let me text her right now. Like.
I want to go to
What's
her and
a
the
good
assistant
date?
chief and maybe some of the captains and let them take a look at the Hawken legislation, see if they're on board for it, if they want changes to it.
I would like to take a look at it before I show it to them, just in case they slip too much. I'll try to look at it today, but I love that idea.
Where do you want me to get? You want me just?
Are you in a Discordia?
I am.
Beautiful. There should be a legislation tab. I'd throw it in there.
All right.
Engage with
See
Ian
how badly
Turner.
I get critiqued here.
Thinking perhaps after meeting tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Easy. All right. I'm gonna get to cook and Turner. If you need me, please let me know. I'm gonna try to get as much as I'm so close to catching up. Holy fuck.
All right. You take care of that. I'll
right.
put the two legislations I have. The VAF. Your ultimate goal with that was to have a incremental point system that ends up dropping off eventually. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
So the kind of I don't know, stickler part, I guess you could say, I put in there was that it could points would drop off after 30 days of no incidents. Are you on board for that?
I think that is very fair. Yes.
Okay. So essentially, if they got 1 point for a misdemeanor and they had 15 points.
I think we hold it. Oh shit, that's an interesting train.
Yeah.
I think we should wait for Michael to be around as well, because one thing I had contemplated is using the court center as a way for us to. So one thing I was contemplating is that perhaps that another way to go about this is that another thing to have in there is that in the event something gets VAF'd fully, that Los Santos County takes on the vehicle, the VAFs are cleared, and we're able to source them to either a rental business that needs to be run by fully clean people, or B, a used car dealership, to which we sell it to them at a quarter of the price or something like that. What that does is it drives these VAFs into a new space. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you no longer want them going to a judge or justice.
Correct. It's technically we own it. They don't. I don't even know why they're the ones that are the arbiter. I think
Okay.
that was
So
just
who do you
old
want to
power
go
grid.
into then on paper?
Los Santos County.
That's very generic, though. You don't want anything more specific? County clerk, police officer.
No, I'd say us. Yeah.
Who is us?
The Los Santos mayor's office.
Los Santos mayor's office. Okay.
Yeah. Whom then may choose to, like, grant it to a civilian-owned auto business for...
Grant or sell?
Yeah. I think, let's wait till Michael's around. So the TLDR is it would come to us, and then we would then auction it to any existing rental or used car dealerships.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like
All right. I'll try to get just some sort of baseline up, and once he's around, is he gonna be around tomorrow? Do you know?
I believe so. Yeah.
Even later today.
And maybe we
can,
push this without that first, and maybe that's like a part 2. You know what I mean? So we can get the ball rolling on the first bit.
Well, I mean, that's pretty easy to word in there. Again, these aren't. I'm using the same format. If I'm going to be honest, the exact same format that the other ones are written. So I'm basically just going through and adjusting as need be. So all the auction process is still in there. The seizure process is still in there. Also, I'll have to go and edit those now. But
really,
just trying to get a baseline. That's all.
Yep.
Something to work off of.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Love it.
But I'll work on that, and we'll link up later today or tomorrow.
Absolutely love it. All right. Appreciate you, Turner.
All right, Nino. Take care.
Yo, Turner is a fucking legend, dude. I love how engaged. Bro, I would have never expected this relationship. This is how much. You know what? I love Turner in our office because I genuinely love. He's writing legislation now for PD. It's so sick.